Hey guys, today I'm going to be walking you through how to make beautiful materials inside of Blender. So first I'm going to show you where to get materials and how to transform them and make them better, to how to fix it, actually fit with your model so you can actually make beautiful renders with beautiful materials. Let's hop into it. Alright, the first thing I do is go to the site called Polyhaven. So Polyhaven has a bunch of free materials. They're all free. You don't have to sign up or do anything. You can just go to it, download materials. It's nice. They don't have the biggest library, but you can also grab them from other places like textures.com. You can grab from Quixel. There's a bunch of different places. But yeah, this is where I usually go grab material from. So you can see there's a huge library of materials. So you can scroll through them, you can go sort through them, search through them, blah blah blah. Okay, so basically you can go grab them. Usually what I do is I change it. You can grab the blend file. I usually just grab the zip and then change it to these settings. You don't have to use these, but yeah, it's basically you don't need the roughness these ones. You just need the roughness. Metal map might be useful depending on the material, but most of these you don't really need. So you can just download like this and then just get rid of. Don't have the preview. It's annoying. But yeah, and then just download that and then unzip them, and then I'll show you how to use them inside of Blender. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is have the Node Wrangler add-on installed. The reason we can do this is just because it saves a bunch of time when you set up your materials. All you do is go Control, Shift, and T, and then if you go grab a folder, so go Textures, let me scroll through, let's grab a, what's it? Let's grab a rock like this, okay? And then load it. You can see all of these images get loaded in with all the nodes and everything set up correctly. And you can see already my model has some textures. By default, it's going to be plugged into the UV, so I'm just going to go enter mode. Let me just check my scale, Control A scale, go U, Q projection. Okay, so now my textures are applying correctly. And now we can mess around with the materials. So I usually get rid of the ambient occlusion. It doesn't really matter. That's like it's not the ambient occlusion we want. So instead of that, I'm going to add actual ambient occlusion, so ambient occlusion. And the reason I want to do this is there's two different ways we can use this. So I'm going to actually duplicate it twice. The first one is if we get rid of this displacement just so we can actually preview it, is the actual ambient occlusion, which is in the cracks. We can make them a bit darker like that. Okay. So you can use a color ramp, just go Shift A, search color ramp, add it in. And you can also mess around with the distance. You can choose only local, because if you have like two objects like this and you have not only local, you can see like that, which can be fun and actually might look better. But yeah, it's up to you. You can choose if you want only local on or not. But yeah, that's kind of what you can do. And then for the other one, we're going to change it to inside. And the reason we do that is because that can get us the edges. And usually to make this look better, is you drag the sides down quite a bit. And then you can mess around with this and you can see we're getting like an edge mask basically. So we can start working with that. Now both of these can be added with a noise texture. So if we go add a noise, I can't remember the exact settings, but you grab a mix color, and if we plug this in, you might have to like multiply them or like color burn, I think was something I did. I think this is it. So if you grab this, you can see it's making the edge a bit like broken up, which is better than before. Okay, so that's just to make it slightly better. It's not doing that much, but yeah, so you can see that just makes it slightly better. You can do that on both of them, but yeah, cool. So this is just something now. So now we have two different like things that we can do. This one, which is the edge mask, and this is the crevice mask. And these can be useful because what we can do is if we select all of these and drag them back, is go grab another mix color. You might actually need like two of these. And the reason we're going to use these is just go grab one of these, grab this, and plug it into the factor. And what we can do is just go grab a brightness and contrast, plug it into the bottom one. Sometimes this doesn't work well, but you know. Okay, so we actually have to invert these. So plug that one into the top, this one into the bottom. And now if we zoom in, you can see if we change the brightness, you can add some crevices to it. And this also works if you have your displacement on and plug that in there. It will actually do a displacement. So if I get rid of, like like base color, you'll see it will add actual displacement into the cracks of the bump itself. So you can see like when you change this, you'll see that like the actual was it the actual cracks will get darker. But yeah, so that's just to add the shadows and the cracks into it. And then the one that makes like looks a lot better is the actual corners. So plug that in again, go plug this into the bottom, and then grab another brightness and contrast, plug the color into the color, and plug this into that. Okay, so you can see now it's darkened on the corners. So if we go to bring this up a bit, just slightly, you can see that's just now a nice way to add some like little things on here. Now this is obviously gonna look better if you actually have like details on stuff, so especially if it's a rock. But let me just go try bevel this slightly just to make it look slightly better. And then we go apply it, and then cube project it again. So you can see, you can just add like that, and especially if you have proper displacement on. So go settings, change this to displacement and bump, where you can see now this bump or this displacement texture is actually doing something now. So you can change the scale and it'll actually move the thing. So this only works in cycles, by the way. And what you can do is if you add a subdivision, make it simple, like that. Now you can actually get some rock displacement on here. So I'm going to drag the scale down. And you can see now it's looking even better. So this can work better on different shapes, but yeah. And then you can also mess around with like the mid-level and stuff like that. One thing, make sure you're in shade smooth, because if you don't, you can sometimes have big bugs on like corners. If I grab a cube like this, here, and go to render view, link the materials, control L, link material, you'll see sometimes that like the edges get pretty messed up. I think it might be also if you go subdivide. Doesn't seem to be doing it right now, but yeah, it's a problem sometimes. So that's something just to be aware of. Just shade smooth if you're getting bugs with your shading. But yeah, this is a pretty easy and simple way to make your materials look better. Yeah, cheers. And if you want to see how I made this exact scene that you're looking at right now, click on the video in the right middle and watch that full video. I broke down every single step it took to make this entire scene.